think it's up to them in the 21st century if they wish to step back from their royal duties. I think, given what it has done to them, given the pressure and stress you have been in the public eye and you have been in the media storm or multiple media storm, let's not forget Prince Harry's mother was harassed severely, Princess Diana, by the media. He has seen this before as it had a massive impact on his life, and now it's happening to his wife. I think he has every right, and she has every right to step back from public life and do as they see fit. And I also think as well, look, the sheer Meghan Markle is one of the most privileged people in this country. And yet, look what our media is doing to her. And Prince Harry, it is completely unacceptable. And I think they have every right to make the decision that they have.
And do you think it's just the media that is making them do this? We must look into their website today and they explain their reasoning, and in some detail they want to live a different kind of life as well.
Yes, they do, but I think we have to take into account that this probably wouldn't happen, and it is speculation on my part, but this probably wouldn't have happened if there had been such an active coverage from the British media. I mean, this is the same British media that is meant to be a force that states meant to hold power and the public to account. It's meant to be fair, it's meant to be balanced. It's anything but, and I think what you can see is in the way that she has been treated as a member of the royal families that little short of a disgrace as far as I'm concerned. And I think she has every right, and Prince Harry have every right to do what they have done. As for the issue of wanting the majesty about this, well, I personally feel that's family matter, you know. I understand that Her Majesty may be upset about that, but ultimately, that's a family matter, and I don't think I would want to dive into that.
Thanks. I agree with about half of what Clive said. I think that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry deserve tremendous sympathy because it's hard being royal. It's incredibly difficult to be royal. I don't buy the view that it's all racist if one remembers you mentioned Diana. I was a newspaper editor at the time that Diana was in the eye of the storm, and an awful lot of royals have a very bad time. You can argue from the media without the issue of race being brought into it. But I also feel very sorry for the Queen and all this, that here she is in her 90s, facing more of these family storms. And I think one of the problems that perhaps because he has lived at such a great age, nobody's got to grips with the issue of what is the royal family supposed to be and the idea. I think Prince Charles is dead right to talk about a slim down royal family in which the state is not accepted. Yes, to pay 2.5 million for Prince Harry, his house, in which there is a clear understanding of what is not expected to bless the royals, and we all argue all the time. I think they are the victims of this to some degree because nobody has told them, especially just what is not expected on them. So they deserve sympathy. Princess William and the Queen deserve sympathy and all this. But I hope that they will keep talking. One does hope that obviously a hell of a round going on in that family. And the worst thing that could happen is if they end up on non-speakers, they've got to keep talking. They've got to see way through this, and one hope it will be a happy one. Not only for Meghan and Prince Harry, but also for the Queen and the future of the monarchy, which some of us especially about.
Yes, they are talking about living financially independent. Let me just take another question here at the front. Had them end up with the respect. Yes, so what do they say exactly? They said they will work, become financially independent. I mean, who pays for the royals? Certainly those the security, something that comes under your aegis. Yes. So are you happy if they step back from their role as senior major royal family? Are you going to keep paying for their security
Well, I'm sure you won't be. Suppose I'm not gonna be able to comment on how we deal with security issues for any protected person, whether they are maybe royal family or otherwise protected.
But surely you can tell us whether or not you will be able to keep funding.
No, we all protection for our family always is done on a risk assessment base. It's done independently. It does come within my remit, but I think I'm afraid it just will be inappropriate for me to comment on how we arrange and what we do for security for protected people. But look, what I would say, and this is where there's an element of agreement between Clive and Max, and certainly myself, would be that I agree with the point Clive point out at the beginning, which is I think that Harry and Meghan and the royal family generally do amazing work for this country, and particularly for charitable and good causes, as well we should be. You know, we're very lucky. I'm very proud to be in a country where we've got a royal family like that. But ultimately, I think Max's point is also right around the fact that this is also a matter for the royal family. And I hope we end up in a position where the whole family get a result that's good for them. And also good for the country, because one of the things we have seen throughout the history of the country is that the royal family has evolved over the centuries and over the generations to reflect the country as it is at that given time, and I'm sure we'll continue to see that. But obviously, this is a matter for the royal family.
And can you see a situation where Harry and Meghan are living independently, but are still part of the royal family? Can you see that? I mean, some would see that as a contradiction in terms. Can you see that working?
Well, as I said, we're waiting to see exactly what the royal family wants to do and where they want to go with this. I think it'd be difficult to prejudge what they might do. But we should also be clear that they are part of all things, not just funding to the public first, you know. Family also sends funding to the family itself from their own interests.
And I saw you shaking your head in some frustration.
A little bit. Let me start with the position of success, which I think it depends whether their aim is still to be in the royal family or not. I mean, they said that they don't want to be senior royals, but that's a somewhat different question.
Well, they say they want to continue to collaborate with the Queen.
Right.
And support, through charity.
I think that's the slight problem, that you have a model of the royal family, and I do think a slimmed down royal family is where we need to head. I think Prince Charles is right about that it is now happening by a necessity, not by choice. But the question is, then what is the role of those who, if you like, or in the outer hall? They are an attractive couple. They have brought a breath of fresh air to the royal family. I interviewed Meghan Markle along with a panel of other people last year. I found her very engaging, professional to work with. I like her focus on subjects like girls' education worldwide. I like the fact that she had an international dynamic to what she brought to it, but that you can do a lot of that from a different platform. If you want to stay somehow connected to the royal family, being a semi-demi-royal, with a bit of time at Frigmore Cottage, and a lot of it at North America, it's going to be very difficult to pull off. It's going to need to be very strategic. Max Hastings said, I think, quite rightly, it's going to have to be done by agreement. It can't be done by an exchange of hostile communications as we've had in the last or so some things gone badly wrong. It may be salvageable, but it does need thinking through. The reason I disagree with Clive is, look, we've talked about the media and poor coverage. Yes, it must be very losing to get coverage you don't like. Sometimes that even happens to the politicians too. Just very quickly, Max. What I was going to say is, if you look, I think most coverage, including the broadcasters, is very, very positive in the UK. We often don't report a lot of things that people say when they don't like about the royals. So I think that you have to calibrate it, and they have to roll with that if they want to still be connected to the throne.
Well supported by our money, the one issue that is going to be faced if they do step down is they're going to find a lot of people, especially in North America, who want to give the money. But they're going to be the worst sort of people taking on money from on this issue.
You mean this commercial endorsement, that kind of thing?
Where there are whether it's any them, yes, whether it's all the people who are most eager to hang around royals are almost is so far through. The people who the royals who let them hang around and how they have overcome that problem is going to be very difficult for.
We have one thing that has been this idea of growing financial independence. We have seen that before. I'm thinking of the counters of OSETs, for example. TV production company, the PR company, and in the end, the Queen ended up giving the win. So they wouldn't be doing that any longer. Can you see that working?